New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, raided his home and took the squirrel and this pet raccoon that he has.
It was the euthanization heard round the world. A beloved squirrel named Peanut and a raccoon named Fred, with millions of followers on social media whose lives were cut short by government officials in upstate New York.
It was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Their shocking deaths leaving fans across the globe both devastated and outraged, including Monica Kiesler and her twin 10-year-old boys in Longview, Texas.
I and my boys cried right along with the rest of the world when we found out that they were euthanized.
Kiesler and her sons felt a special camaraderie with Mark Longo and his rescue squirrel Peanut. They, too, were members of the squirrel rehabbing community, a rewarding experience Kiesler says she loves to share with her sons.
I mean, we treat them like the miracles that they are, and release them back into the wild. And, it's a great source of joy for us.
Kiesler says she logged onto her Squirrel Rehab Facebook group to chat with other members about what had happened to the beloved squirrel. That's when Kiesler says she came across a screenshot someone had posted in the group of a woman harshly criticizing Mark Longo and his wife.
Just saying that they should have known better to have them because it was illegal in New York to do so, and that they had monetized them, and that was also wrong in her opinion. And basically that they should have seen all of this coming, and they were completely at fault.
Kiesler says she's not a person who likes to see people kicked when they're down.
I had just seen a video of them crying, and someone asked in the comments who everyone thought reported them, and I said my guess is this woman that was in this screenshot. 1,000 times before, shared my opinion on social media, didn't think anything of it.
But just 5 minutes later, a post was shared with Kiesler that would quickly turn her world upside down.
She had screenshotted my Facebook page with my picture on it and where I lived, and it had 2 text boxes added to it, and they said that I was the one that reported them and that she had proof and that I had been bragging about it on my own Facebook page.
Within moments, Kiesler says an onslaught of threatening calls and texts started coming in so rapidly she had a hard time grasping what had just happened.
I had heard of doxing before, but it's not real. It's sometimes not real in life if it doesn't happen to you, and you don't, there's no way you can fully grasp how it feels or what it's even like until it happens to you. And so at first I panicked and shut everything down, and so that I could think logically about how to proceed.
Kiesler says she could feel the weight of her emotions pulling her to a new level.
One thing I've never really been is scared. Up until this happening, because when you have children, it has a way of making you fearful of what's about to happen or what might happen, the things that might happen.
As Kiesler went into hiding with her sons offline, online fuel was only being added to the fire of the angry mob. She says by social media journalists and even Mark Longo himself.
Oh, I know they shared it out of it from an emotional place, but with their social media reach, it traveled very quickly.
Kiesler says soon the calls were coming in from overseas.
It was Japan. It's been Japan. It's been Germany. It's been England. Trying to think. South Africa, Australia.
But it was the threats made against her sons, like
they were going to come kill my children in front of me and drag them down my street by their intestines, from their truck,
that Kiesler says forced her to lean into her faith beyond understanding.
When someone makes those kind of threats towards your children, and you know that you've been chosen to protect them and raise them, that's where all reason goes out the window.
And it was in that moment of surrender, Kiesler says, she began to see the bigger picture.
It hit me very hard that the people that were messaging me were just You know, you've heard the saying, hurt people hurt people, hurting people hurt people. There are a lot of hurting people in our world.
Choosing not to add to the hurt, Keesler says she instead focused on the perfectly timed God wink moments, showing her, in this battle, she wasn't alone.
I have an army of people that I know, and I have an army of people that I don't know personally that have reached out to let me know that they have my back. And it's been comforting in the midst of the darkness.
And that army happened to be the driving force leading Keesler to the information that would prove her innocence.
And I had tried to reach out myself to the DEC to try and find someone that would be willing to give me something official that would clear my name from as being one of the complainants or being accused of being one of the complainants.
Keesler says thanks to her network of fellow rehabbers, they were able to ultimately connect her to the lead counsel, whose name is also Monica, and provided the official government record Keesler needed to prove she had absolutely nothing to do with the fate of Peanut the squirrel. Reading in part, quote, after a diligent search of the files maintained by DEC, there are no records with your name nor any mention of involvement by you relating to the seizure of wildlife at Peanut's Freedom Farm on October 30th, 2024.
You have it, you've seen it. And it totally exonerates me. It's official, and I know I didn't. God knows I didn't. My kids know I didn't. My family and friends know I didn't, and that is ultimately what means the most to me.
Keesler says this experience has taught her the collective heart of humanity is wounded.
The language that people felt comfortable using with a stranger, they don't know that I donate my time to an organization called Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, where I go photograph babies in hospitals that are not expected to make it, so their families have custom portraiture to remember them by, to remember holding them by. They don't know that I've raised baby animals. They don't know that I went through 7 rounds of in vitro and 4 losses of my own to have my boys. They don't know me. They don't know me. And they didn't take the time. They didn't ask.
To the people who watch this interview, what do you hope they take away from it?
I hope that they not only think before they speak to anyone, but think before they post on social media. Think that there's a human on the other end of that, and that there are other humans associated with that person that you have the potential of doing serious damage to.
Keesler says in life's darkest moments, trust that it's all part of your greater purpose.
God will use your darkness to make other people not feel so alone. He will use your darkness to serve other people in 100 different ways. It's just, you just have to learn to sit still and just be still. Just be still and wait.